from Wasdale Head. Going back down the valley from Wasdale Head Hotel, a different camera position now, mounted on the tank. You can get a decent view. The sun's still out, still dry. The weather set fair. Little bridge. Look where you're going. You're ahead of the Wasdale squeeze and just make out shortly the Wast Water Lake. Lovely road surface. So this gets uploaded to YouTube, and you guys are watching it. You'll see number Herky231, which is my YouTube channel. See, it's mostly flight simulations, which is my favourite hobby. And if you're interested in Scafell Pike, which is now behind us, there's a simulation of DG8 glider over Scafell. Actually there's 6 gliders, so I've double tracked it, and it's over photorealistic scenery, so it gives you a good view of Scafell from the air. Flight sims are, I think, are greatly underrated. It's a fantastic hobby, just as is motorcycling, and you get some really interesting people doing flight sims. One of the guys who I have featured is called Sky Surfer 007. He's actually a first officer on a 737, and when he's not doing that for real, he's doing flight sims on his computer, because the 737 simulations now are so accurate. You have to be well, you have to be a pilot in order to fly it properly. If you take a look at him, Sky Surfer, you'll see the first officer flying a flight sim. Oh, little mini. Hello, thank you. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, he's flying his flight sims, doing his flight sims, when he's not flying the real aircraft. Such is the complexity of these things these days. Much underrated, I think, by a lot of people, and certainly worth taking a look at. That's my channel, Herky231. Oh, we're being very, very courteous today. With this being my first vlog, first time with a camera on the bike, it might just be not very good, but hopefully it's uploadable and watchable and entertaining. We're in one of the most picturesque areas of the English Lake District. Wast Water now to the left. I think there are many places that you can get such scenery. With the weather, which is fine. I don't know whether you would call this a vlog as such. It's something that is new to me. I think I just like to do areas that are of fantastic pictorial quality. So that you can see something of the beautiful countryside. You certainly don't want to be listening to me droning on about the subjects that I dare say I could drone on about. I don't know really. We'll have to see how it develops. I certainly don't want these to be boring. Shown on the map as just a tiny little one-track road this, but you can see by the amount of traffic on it that it's extremely popular. Hope you can get the screens, the Wasdale screens in the tank camera shot just off to the left. This camera that's on the tank looks like it's wobbling about quite a bit, so it may be something to look at. It's all a first time try. I think I've mentioned the bike's going in for a set of pipes next week. Should try 5-foot pipes. So it should have a different sound than it has at the moment. It's also going to have a different exhaust map, or rather induction map. The bike will run on a slightly richer mixture with the high flow pipes, as one led to believe. And they say it gives you a couple of brake horsepower, which would be nice. Not that I need it. 68 brake horsepower on the Bonneville, which I think is just about right. Riding two up, nearest and dearest on the back, and to be honest with you, I don't really notice the difference between two up and riding solo. The sheep are behaving themselves today, keeping off the road. there's your Wasdale screens, hope you can see them on the tank camera. I think I should have kept it on the helmet, but never mind, it's all an experiment. And that's the end of the lake, the western end of the lake, Wast Water. And we've travelled the whole way down. And there's your sheep. There's your herdwicks. Cattle grid. So this is Gosforth, a village, West Cumbrian area, and just before we switch the camera off, I'd like to show you something rather special. It's to the graveyard, and it's a cross, called the Gosforth Cross, and it actually has obviously a cross on the top, as is traditional, St John's Cross, but on the sides of the cross there are symbols on one side which are Viking pagan symbols, and on the other side there are Christian symbols. When it was erected back in the 8th century, there were still a lot of pagans in the area. And the Christian monks kind of thought, well, we'll hedge our bets and we'll put all the Viking gods up on the cross, as well as Christian symbols, and sort of gently introduce the natives to Christianity without being too, what's the word, officious, and will suddenly change. No, wanted to do it gradually. So if I just stop here and show you what I'm going on about. Make sure I've got neutral. That's what I'm going on about. Now you get a better idea of what I was rabbiting on about from the road. You couldn't see it from the road, but this is it. This is the Gosforth Cross, and you've got on the top a cross, and you can see it's the cross of St John. And then if we zoom out, on this side we have got pagan symbols. And then if we go around to the other side, well, you can see it, it's quite faded. More pagan symbols. And then pagan symbols, guy and a horse there. Very Viking looking. Quite pagan. Pagan symbols on all four sides, and then On the top, the Christian cross, 8th century Gosforth Cross. Let's be Christian, but you can still have your Viking gods, because we'll paint them, we'll put them on the side of the cross for you. How about that? So I hope you've enjoyed it. The first little outing with the camera, and let's see what it looks like on the computer to upload. So it's cheerio for now.